The universe responds to vibration, and so do these demonic entities, right? So, the same way that the universe responds to our internal state of being, to our desires, where we're able to manifest who we are, and what we want to bring into our reality, the same way that these low vibrational entities, demonic forces per se, are able to use us because we are, in a way, vibrating, not only vibrating at its frequency, but saying without realizing, hey, I am able to be used by you because I am operating in the state that you operate in, which is at a low frequency. And so this is deeper than just, you know, being sad, being depressed, being anxious, having hurt. It's much deeper than that. When we slander, when we create false narratives, when we are in a state of always blaming people or blaming ourselves for things, and we choose to not heal, because with our free will, we have a choice. There's a choice there. We don't usually sit down and think about, what, I have free will. What am I choosing to do with my free will? How am I carrying myself? What am I doing with my life? We're not looking at that. Usually, most of us were programmed to operate from a space of lack, which is why it's important that we detach from the programming and really choose to reprogram ourselves in such a way that anything that we internalize and the way that we carry ourselves, the way that we maneuver around the world, really is something that we have chosen to do. Things that we believe in, things that we are 100% sure that this is what we want, because the people that programmed us were programmed themselves. This has been a lot of programming that has been happening. So this is not something like a blame type of thing, like, oh, well, you programmed me this way, and this is what I learned from such and so. This is not to pass judgment. This is just to realize, hey, we've been programmed. I've been programmed. So has been my mother. So has been her mother. It's been a long time coming of programming. We're aware now. So with our free will, we're able to do something about it, right? Because even if you look at the times, there was a time when the people that came before us didn't have a choice. They had to go with the flow, right? But today, we have a choice. We're able to do something different. We're able to make our own decisions. We're able to use our free will, right? So those little tiny things that we just don't look at as being a gift, those are gifts, because today we have a voice. Today we can be sovereign. Today we can choose to reprogram ourselves and really take note of what it is that we're doing. So again, let's go back to frequencies and vibration, right? So just the same way that with the laws of the universe responds to a set of laws, right? And that's how we're able to manifest our reality. Now, the thing is that nobody teaches us this. This is knowledge that is kept hush hush, where secret societies are built off of them, and they think that they're able to manipulate other people's free will because the people are not aware that this is happening, that this is how we manifest, that this is how we live, that certain things that are happening in our lives are because of our vibration, because of our frequency, because we're choosing to go along the path of that everybody follows, right? And we're not really learning and taking a step back to really see what is happening. So there'll be people like myself that'll be put in front of you saying, hey, there's a different approach that we could take about this. Your reality today has a lot to do with you, right? This is not to put the blame on anybody else. Oh, I grew up like this happened to me. We all go through things, and we have to choose to heal. Well, we don't have to do anything, but some of us choose to heal. The reason being that we understand that there are universal laws, and depending on the reality that we want to manifest and the type of life we want to live, one of the core things that we must do is heal. And so with that being said, I want to speak about the topic that I came on here to speak on. I always go on a rampart. It was about frequencies and vibrations and how these demonic forces are able to utilize our vessels because we're vibrating at a low frequency, right? Because their darkness could only thrive in low frequencies, right? And so I wanted to speak about body jumping entities. For example, I've been a person who has been pursued by low vibration entities, right, by these dark forces. And what they do is that I had a demonic entity assigned to me, right? And so this demonic entity, while I was at a low vibration, it was able to get to me through the people around me, because I was one operating at a low frequency, right? So the people around me would get like infected by this low entity, where the low entity will body jump into them. It's like, let's say you find somebody with a narcissistic character, right? And then you go and you meet a friend, and this friend has the same characteristics. And then you go to the corner store and you find somebody the same way, and somebody at work has the same characteristics, right? And you're like, why is this like happening to me? Why is everybody that I find so narcissistic, right? And it's because these entities are able to body jump into individuals that are of a low frequency. It wasn't until I healed and I raised my frequency that I was able to identify this entity and to realize that it wasn't the people, it was the entity that kept jumping into these vessels that were operating at a low frequency. And then I realized that it was because they were at a low frequency. So the only way that it could get to me was if I operated at a low frequency. And then if I wasn't healed, the reason that it got to me was because certain things still affected me. But the moment that I healed it, no matter who it comes through, it doesn't affect me anymore, because that's just not who I am. I hope that makes sense. So the same thing, that's just an example. So when we're operating at a low frequency, or if you can relate to the fact that you find people who always, there's like a negative experience most of the time. You're like, why everybody at work, everybody with my family, and then the like lovers, it's not, and it's not you per se, is or them, is the entity that gets onto them. Usually it'll start nice, like it'll start like, this is going well, and then out of the nowhere, it just goes downward, right? And so the solution to that is one for us to, we go within always, and we look at ourselves. If anything is affecting us, it's because there's something that we need to heal. It's not outside of ourselves. So the reason why this was affecting me was because I had things that I needed to work on and heal. The moment that I worked on myself and I healed that and I raised my vibration, now these vessels that were being used by this entity no longer affected me, because I was above it, right? And only if I go down to its level will it affect me. So I don't entertain diabolical. I don't care who it's coming from. And so it doesn't, like, you take your power back in a sense. So I wanted to bring that out, because while we're operating at a low frequency, this is the only way that these dark entities are able to get to us. And it'll come through like the people, it'll use the people's closest to you, any area of your life, any way that it could get to you, it'll do its work to do that. And sometimes some of us, specifically chosen people, we have this is like common, like we have entities assigned to us to just, you know, create chaos in our lives. But it's not until we heal and choose to rise above it and never go down to its level again that we can physically see it, like with our eyes. I'll be back for more.